Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with Look Up Weekend. Nancy Nalima here and Josephine Ouko on the sign language interpretation. Let's continue informing you. Representation of women in Kenya's parliament has been and remains minimal. Notably, the Constitution of Kenya readily recognizes women by way of creation of special seats for women that resulted in the election of 47 women into the National Assembly, nomination of 16 women by political parties and 1 woman representing the youth and persons with disabilities into the Senate and county governments, and appointment of the women into the decision-making bodies. However, this factor has not been fully implemented in the current government. Our very own Cecilia Lubanga attended a media engagement with stakeholders who have put a spirited fight in the fight of implementation of the 2/3 gender principle in Kenya.
Members of Parliament are going to debate.
It is a forum that brought together members from the executive, parliament, legal fraternity, human rights groups, members of Fourth Estate, among others. Stakeholders brainstormed on ideas that will go an extra mile in bringing about the full implementation of the 2/3 gender rule that remains elusive.
Hii mambo ya gender si mambo ya wanawake peke yake, na hapo ndo mahali ambapo tumeweza kujikosoa. Tukiendelea mbele tunaweza kuangalia hii mambo kama ni mambo ya Wakenya wote, si mambo ya wanawake. Ukiangalia hii nchi ukiangalia kwa umbali sana, in the next 15-20 years, tunaweza kuwa tunaongelea mambo ya wanaume. So tuwache kuangalia mambo ya 2/3 gender kama mambo ya wanawake.
So one of the biggest problems that we have seen today has been political will. But now that we have the political will, His Excellency the President has decided even to steer this particular issue, then we have the political will that we require.
The material failure by the parliament is that they have not enacted a relevant legislative framework to give effect to the principle that not more than 2/3 of the members of the National Assembly and Senate should be of the same gender.
The Kenyan Constitution recognizes women by way of creation of special seats for women that resulted in the election of 47 women in the National Assembly, nomination of 16 women by political parties, and 1 woman representing the youth and persons with disability into the Senate and county governments, and appointment of women into other decision-making bodies. The current government runs short of the principle by over 50 women.
Women and girls make extraordinary contributions every day across all fields of human endeavor, including in business, education, sports, arts, science, agriculture, parenting, and governance. Without this contribution, economies will collapse, communities would fail, and families would fall apart.
It is the Kenya Law Reform Commission and the Office of the Attorney General and Department of Justice and the defunct Commission for the Implementation of the Constitution, CIC, that were tasked with the development of bills that were required to implement this Constitution. I want to affirm that we did our task. All the bills that were required to implement the 2010 Constitution were channeled through the Kenya Law Reform Commission and, of course, through Cabinet, except one single bill, and that is the gender bill.
I would be calling upon our Parliament to ensure that this bill is resuscitated and it is enacted. Now, with those, if I was told to say one item that I would want us to push forward today is the fact that instead of going and starting a bill, we need to look at what His Excellency the President has proposed. I know it has 3 items. We still have the CDF in it, we have the leader of opposition in it, and 2/3. It doesn't hurt to pass that bill so that we also attain 2/3.
The ball now remains with the President Advisor on Women's Rights, Harry Chigai, who is working around the clock in ensuring the Kenya Kwanza government is abiding by the Constitution. Here is a continued push of the gender rule that has not sailed through the bicameral House in 9 attempts as women strive to rise out of the second-class citizenship status. Stakeholders are putting a spirited fight to ensure the full realization of the 2/3 gender principle in the country. Cecilia Lubanga, Look Up TV at Tamarind Hotel, Nairobi.